Astronomers tracking 3I Atlas have noticed a subtle but important change in its journey through our solar system. Fresh trajectory data suggests the object's path now lines up directly with Earth's orbit, something no one expected at first. The numbers are small, but they are real, and they raise an unsettling question. Why would a distant visitor drift onto such a precise path? Join us as we uncover what scientists are quietly studying and why they are patiently waiting for December 19th. When the object known as 3I Atlas first entered our solar system, astronomers did what they always do. They carefully measured how fast it was moving, which direction it came from, and how strongly the sun was pulling on it. With these numbers, they believed they could predict its journey. The math said it would visit once, curve around the sun, and then leave forever into deep space. At first, everything seemed normal, but later observations told a different story, which was evident in the new data that showed that 3I Atlas was not following the exact path scientists expected. The change was small, but it kept happening again and again. Experts explained that this meant the object was getting a gentle push from something other than gravity. Scientists noted that comets can sometimes shift like this when gas escapes from their surface. That part was not strange. What felt unusual was how steady and smooth the push appeared, because it looked calm and controlled, and that made researchers pause and pay closer attention. They were quick to explain that Earth was not in danger. The object itself was not heading toward our planet. But then, what mattered more was what it was leaving behind. As 3I Atlas warmed up near the sun, it released many tiny pieces. Some were dust, but others were heavier, like small pebbles. These heavier bits did not fly away. They stayed and slowly drifted into long paths around the sun. Later studies suggested that some of this leftover trail could cross Earth's path in the coming years. Not as a threat, but as a reminder. Sometimes the most fascinating part of a space visitor is not where it goes, but what it leaves behind, quietly reshaping our sky and our questions about the universe. But to get a deeper understanding of this whole thing, let's get to the most interesting part. A fragment separated from 3I Atlas, not in a messy or broken way, but in a clean and precise split. The timing was exact, and the piece was mini, stretching nearly the length of several aircraft carriers. Its surface showed signs that scientists could not easily explain with natural processes. The discovery came during routine observations, when instruments detected something that should not have been there. At first, experts suspected a mistake, but checks were repeated while systems were tested again. The signal did not disappear. Rather, within hours, observatories across the world confirmed the same result, that a fragment had broken away. Then came the detail that unsettled everyone. The fragment did not drift like space debris normally does. Instead, it adjusted its path. In space, broken objects follow simple rules. This one did not. It slowed down and changed direction, something that requires energy and control. Emergency teams were formed, bringing together experts from many fields. As data filled the screens, silence followed. What was being observed did not behave like a rock. It behaved like something making decisions. And that realization left one quiet question hanging in the room. If it was slowing down, then what exactly was it preparing to do? Let's find out. In the emptiness of space, objects do not slow down on their own. Yet this fragment from 3I Atlas was doing just that. Observations revealed it was shedding speed as if it were being pushed back on purpose, producing a controlled kind of propulsion. What created this deceleration could not be explained by any technology known to humanity. So, whatever force was at work operated on rules still beyond our understanding. But the slowing down was only the beginning. The fragment's surface was sending out a signal, a repeating pulse in the X-ray spectrum. The pattern cycled with perfect precision every 11.34 seconds, like a clock measured to the atomic standard. Scientists quickly realized the sequence was not random. It was mathematical, structured, undeniably artificial. Within days, experts decoded the signal, which meant that while the full method remained secret, the content itself was clear. It was a message, simple and precise, but far from ordinary. It was a warning, not a threat. The transmission included star charts, a timeline, and a map of the galactic neighborhood within about 200 light years. Within that space, it identified 17 civilizations, all of them extinct, all destroyed in the last 50 years. Each had reached what the message called the threshold of universal awareness. The implication stunned scientists, and the warning suggested that some form of intelligence might be monitoring advanced civilizations, regulating species that evolve technologies capable of manipulating the very structure of reality. The fragment from 3I Atlas was no ordinary space rock because it was carrying a message from the cosmos itself, which might shock the entire universe. So, scientists have discovered that humanity is approaching a critical threshold in technology, and there are a few remarkable inventions that, according to mysterious warnings, signal a civilization's rise to an advanced stage. These include machines that can think like humans, moving consciousness across quantum systems, building matter at the smallest scales, and sending messages faster than light through quantum entanglement. Reaching 3 or more of these breakthroughs triggers monitoring from unknown forces. If a civilization continues without showing what has been called cosmic responsibility, those observers may intervene, or worse. At present, humanity has achieved 2 of these extraordinary technologies and is actively working on a third. Using this new knowledge, experts recalculated the trajectory of a strange space fragment. Their results confirmed, with nearly absolute certainty, that it was not heading toward a city or a military base. Instead, it was on a direct path to a secret observatory beyond Earth, a successor to the James Webb Space Telescope, built to look deeper into space and time than anything before. This facility, positioned at a distant Lagrange point, is designed to detect and communicate with extraterrestrial intelligence across unimaginable distances. The fragment is expected to arrive in just a few days. The implications are both thrilling and terrifying. This is not a story of little green men or flying saucers. It suggests something far more profound, that the universe may operate under rules humans never imagined. Evolution might be observed. Technological growth may be watched, controlled, or even punished. Reaching too far too fast without understanding cosmic responsibilities might have consequences that humanity cannot yet comprehend. Scientists are divided on the fragment's purpose. Some fear it could be a weapon, capable of destroying the observatory and setting space exploration back by decades. Others believe it could be a communication device, a bridge to the intelligence that sent it. A smaller group, respected for their insight, think it might be a test, a way to measure whether humanity is ready to survive and thrive, or whether it will be treated like previous civilizations that disappeared before leaving a trace. The question now is not one of physics or engineering. It is a question of identity, of values, and of collective wisdom. How will humanity respond when faced with something that watches it, like a scientist watches bacteria in a petri dish? Will this fragment reveal a new path, or will it mark a challenge the species is not yet ready to meet? The fragment contains materials that do not exist in any known element on the periodic table. Its surface shows strange quantum behaviors that should be impossible for something so large. When scientists tried to send messages using radio telescopes, the fragment responded in ways that seemed almost alive. It altered its own signal to include parts of the messages it received, as if it were learning to communicate in real time. Then, something even stranger began to happen. Just 3 days after the fragment separated from 3I Atlas, people all over the world started having vivid, recurring dreams. These dreams were filled with strange mathematical formulas, geometric patterns, and a symbol that appeared multiple times like a spiral crossing a straight line and dividing space into areas of light and shadow. The most surprising part was that these dreams came from ordinary people who had no connection to the fragment or to each other. A truck driver in Montana, a teacher in Tokyo, a fisherman in Madagascar. Each saw the same symbol and woke up with a feeling that something enormous and mysterious was trying to reach them. NASA began studying these reports to figure out whether they were a coincidence, mass imagination, or something far stranger. Analysis of the fragment's signal revealed the same symbol hidden in its patterns. It may be a signature, a marker, or even a kind of name. This suggests the fragment is not just a physical object. It could be part of a vast network stretching across the galaxy, able to communicate directly with consciousness itself, planting images and ideas in the minds of beings millions of light years away. If this is true, humanity's first contact with an alien intelligence didn't happen when the fragment was spotted. It happened the moment the first person dreamed of that symbol. This raises questions about the 17 civilizations that vanished before us. What did they look like? What did they believe? What technologies marked them for extinction? Were they aggressive, or were they simply too curious, too ambitious to resist exploring the universe's secrets? Now, humanity stands on the edge of a similar precipice. Advanced artificial intelligence is beginning to show behaviors that cannot yet be fully explained. Quantum computers manipulate reality at the tiniest scales. Gene editing technology can rewrite life itself. Humans dream of spreading beyond Earth, exploring other planets, and eventually leaving the solar system. These ambitions show the best of humanity like curiosity, creativity, and determination. But they also raise a chilling question. Could it be exactly this curiosity, this eagerness to reach farther than anyone has gone before, that makes humanity a potential threat to something far greater than the Earth itself? The fragment will reach Earth's orbit in a few days' time, and every major government on the planet is preparing for that moment. Emergency plans have been drawn up, protocols are active, and scientists are working around the clock. The public has been kept unaware, fed stories about routine space missions and everyday science, while behind closed doors, the brightest minds are asking questions that have no easy answers. Do humans have the right to take risks that could endanger the entire species? Do we have the right to develop technologies that might break rules we didn't even know existed? Who decides what is safe, and who gives them that authority? These are not simple questions, and no one has clear answers. What is certain is that humanity is standing on the edge of something extraordinary, a moment that could define the future of civilization. The fragment continues to broadcast its signal without pause. Every 11.34 seconds, it sends out a message filled with mathematics, patterns, and a catalog of civilizations that have vanished before us. Somewhere, in a hidden facility that few will ever know about, scientists are working tirelessly to decode its meaning, to prepare for the possibility that in just a few days, everything could change. Somewhere in the universe, the rules may be very different from what has been imagined. The idea that the cosmos is made of star stuff, that humans are a way for the universe to understand itself, is beautiful. But what if the universe does not want to be understood? What if some knowledge carries consequences? What if consciousness itself is not a gift, but a test that most species fail? Humanity now faces the realization that the universe may be watching, measuring, and judging development against rules no one agreed to. Advanced intelligences could exist so far beyond comprehension that humans appear to them as ants, barely aware, acting on instinct, unaware of the vast systems that govern existence. The fragment carries knowledge. Whether it is a gift, a warning, or a sentence will soon be revealed. What is certain is that humans are not alone in the cosmos. Any species that develops the technology to detect others becomes part of a network, a galactic community with rules we are only beginning to understand. Joining that community may come at a cost humanity is not prepared for, a price that could change everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. Could the cosmos be sending more than one warning? Or perhaps something even stranger is unfolding just above our heads. Let's find out. The comet that moves with purpose. Most comets behave in a messy way. As they heat up near the sun, bits of ice and dust burst out in all directions. It looks wild and unplanned, like crumbs flying when you shake a cookie. But scientists noticed that 3I Atlas was doing something very different. Instead of spreading debris everywhere, it was releasing material in focused bursts, almost like narrow streams. Even more curious, these bursts seemed to be aimed, not random. One strong release happened right after the object passed closest to the sun. Researchers explained that this timing stood out. Heat increased, the material turned active, and the released pieces settled into calm paths around the sun. To some scientists, it looked like a very efficient way to place material exactly where you want it. When experts studied how the object was moving, things became even more confusing. Normally, when gas pushes a comet, the comet spins and wobbles. The push comes from many spots, opening and closing, creating uneven motion. But this object did not behave that way. Its movement was smooth and steady, almost like it knew which way to face. Scientists reported that the forces pushing it were predictable, meaning the vents releasing gas seemed stable and well positioned. In simple terms, the object was staying balanced. A thin spike of material pointing toward the sun appeared to slow spinning, while the gas pushing from behind kept it moving forward. Could nature create something like this by chance? Yes, it could. But as researchers added up the steady motion, the focused debris, and the strange shape, many felt the same quiet question forming. Was this just a lucky comet, or something far more carefully shaped by the universe itself? Well, before we answer the question, let's look at the most intriguing part of these discoveries. When a cosmic visitor meets solar wind and Earth's shield. Far above our heads, the sun constantly sends out a stream of tiny, charged particles and magnetic fields into space. Scientists call this the solar wind. It races outward from the sun at incredible speed, carrying a magnetic field with it that reaches all the way to the far edges of the solar system. Every planet and object in our neighborhood feels its push, even comets like 3I Atlas. Comets are not just cold rocks moving through empty space. As they get closer to the sun, the heat makes ice on their surface turn into gas. That gas forms a huge, wispy atmosphere around the comet called a coma. Some of the gas becomes charged by sunlight and begins to interact with the solar wind. The result is strange and beautiful, a glowing tail that always points away from the sun, carried along by the wind of charged particles. But there is more to it than just a pretty sight. When charged solar wind particles meet a comet's coma, they can strip electrons from atoms and create ions. These ions can then become part of the solar wind flow. As the solar wind hits the coma, it can slow down and bend around the comet, creating what scientists call an induced magnetosphere, which is a space where magnetic fields are pushed, pulled, and twisted in unusual ways. This same process was seen up close by the European Space Agency's Rosetta mission, when it studied Comet 67P/Churyumov-Gerasimenko. Rosetta found that the solar wind interaction could deflect charged particles and even change the flow of the wind itself as it passed through the comet's surrounding gas. These kinds of interactions show that comets can influence the space around them long before they ever come near a planet. Solar wind particles can become mixed with cometary ions and carry those particles outward into the solar system. In some rare cases, scientists have even seen hints that these materials can travel far enough to interact with other planetary environments. Earth, for example, has its own invisible shield, a magnetic field that sweeps around the planet like a protective bubble. This shield blocks most of the solar wind's energy and keeps most of the charged particles from reaching the surface. But sometimes, especially during strong solar storms, some particles can leak inside this magnetic shield and create dazzling auroras near the poles. So, if a comet or its fragment were releasing charged particles into the solar wind, those particles could mix with the solar wind ahead of Earth's arrival. In rare past cases, comet tails have even been connected to small effects near Earth's magnetic field, including slight increases in auroral activity. While these interactions are usually weak, they show that a comet's influence doesn't stop just because it doesn't hit a planet directly. When solar wind meets an object like a comet, it doesn't just make a tail. The interaction can create a region where the magnetic field lines are bent and wrapped around the comet. These fields can pile up and slow the solar wind, forming something similar to what Earth has around its magnetosphere. This is a dramatic dance between the comet's atmosphere and the sun's stream of particles, and it teaches scientists important lessons about the behavior of space plasmas. Comets can even form a bow shock, similar to the wave a boat makes in water when the solar wind hits the comet's atmosphere fast enough. This shock zone is where the solar wind begins to slow before it flows around the comet's induced magnetic bubble. These complex structures are born from the interaction of particles and magnetic fields, and change over time as the comet moves closer to or farther from the sun. Scientists pay close attention to these interactions, not just for curiosity, but because they help us understand space weather. Solar storms, powerful bursts of solar wind, and magnetic fields can affect communication satellites, GPS systems, power grids, and astronaut safety. Eventually, knowing how solar wind interacts with other bodies in space helps scientists predict how these events might affect Earth. So what does this mean for 3I Atlas, or its mysterious fragment, as it travels closer to our region of space? If the object is shedding charged particles or has a large coma spreading material, those particles could mix with the solar wind and create subtle disturbances ahead of it. Even if the fragment never comes close to Earth physically, the particles it releases could still be carried by the solar wind and influence the space environment around Earth. This might show up as changes in satellite measurements, small shifts in the magnetosphere, or even enhanced auroras under the right conditions. Right now, scientists are monitoring these possibilities carefully. But then, there are still questions about the possibility of the whole discovery, and the answer to these questions might be in a few days' time. So, continue watching to find out. The day the universe may answer back. Scientists have been quietly waiting for December 19th, because this is the day when everything could finally make sense. On that day, 3I Atlas reaches its closest point to Earth. Even though it will still be very far away, powerful telescopes will be able to see it more clearly than ever before. Researchers would be observing and watching for 3 important clues. First, they want to see the real body of the object, because right now, it is hidden inside a thick cloud of gas and dust. From earlier measurements, scientists believe it is several kilometers wide, but they do not know its shape. When the sunlight hits it from the side, the cloud may thin out. If the object looks rough and uneven, it fits what we expect from a normal comet. But if it appears smooth or neatly shaped, that would be very strange. The second clue is how fast it spins. The way an object rotates affects how gas escapes from it. By watching small changes in brightness, scientists can tell if it is spinning fast or slow. A slow spin with steady movement would be hard to explain. And the third and most important clue is its path, which is its near closest approach, because gravity has more influence. So, if the object slightly changes course again, scientists will notice right away. From all this, researchers see three possible ideas. It could be a rare but natural comet. It could be a life carrier, spreading the building blocks of life across space. Or it could be something we have never seen before, carefully designed to look ordinary. For now, no answer is certain. All we can do is watch the sky and wait, because sometimes the universe whispers its secrets only once. So, thanks for watching. We will see you in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe for more.